All right, what's going on? This is TK from Comic Insider in the Gulf Coast CW. We're out here at Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo with one of the legends, Karan Ashley from Power Rangers, Day One. How you doing?
Yay, legends. I love that. I'm great. I'm having the time of my life. Show's just now getting started. It's amazing.
Have you got to see, I know it's pretty early, it's only been about an hour into it, so have you got to see any cool Power Ranger cosplays yet? Or?
Yeah. No, we came in, the minute they opened the door, they all flooded us, and we got to see some really good cosplays. There was a Red Ranger / Michelangelo crossover cosplay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Little Ninja Turtles crossover? That is awesome. How'd they have that? Was it like split down the half?
He had the Power Ranger, Red Ranger suit, and then he had the turtle, like the turtle shell around him, like kind of like armor. And they did a toy. Cool. It's funny, they did a crossover toy like maybe 2 years ago with the Power Rangers and the Turtles, and so it was kind of a play on that.
Kind of reminds me of what was it, back in right after the original series, and then I think it was
In
Zeo.
Space, yeah.
They had In Space where the crossover. It was like 2-episode event.
Yeah, it was so smart. It was literally because literally when we were out, they were out, and it was like both were hugely popular. So usually, if you're a Power Ranger fan, then you're also a Ninja Turtle fan. It was so smart for them to finally do a toy like.
And then when they did that crossover, technically, I mean, what was it Saban and so Bandai, and then with I think what was it the crossovers Teenage Ninja Turtles are technically DC's.
Yeah, it was smart, and I love that. I love when I see things that we all love and it kind of take a new life and kind of just spin into a tag team duo. So for me, I think it's amazing.
So when it comes to Power Rangers, what was one of your favorite moments on show versus movie?
The show, we love shooting the show because the show was like so much fun, and it was like we shot it really fast. So we were literally, you got 1 or 2 takes and that was it. We're moving on to the next thing. And then when we shot the movie, we would shoot like normal shows shoot maybe 1 episode a week. We would do 4 to 5 every 2 weeks. So our workload was like double or not triple, and so we would shoot like 20 pages of dialogue almost every day, almost like a soap. And they said it was like every 3 days we'd make a complete episode, but we would shoot them all at the same time. So in my mind, I was there, but I don't always remember what with what, because if we were in the command center, we'd shoot all 4 or 5 episodes in the command center. If we were in the school, we'd shoot all scenes that were in the school. And so it'd be a whole day of school, a whole day at command center, a whole day at the park. So we would change clothes a lot.
Makes the sets a little bit easier.
Yeah, but that was one of the things I loved about the TV show. I loved the fact that it was always really fast paced. It was moving. We were getting a lot done, in a short amount of time. And usually when you're an actor, it's like the hurry up and wait. They'll get you all dressed up, and then you still wait 3 hours before you're called to set. So the movie
different was that on the movie?
The movie was where we were waiting. We'd get all dolled up. They'd bring us on set. We'd kind of rehearse the scene and kind of just figure out how everybody was going to do it. And then they'd send us back to our trailers and go, "We're going to light it, so we'll call you back in an hour or 2. 5 hours later, we'd get called back to set. Wow. We'd have to get touched up again, and then we would do it. But the movie was bigger and better, and like the sets and the costumes, everything was so amazing.
Those costumes, those are crazy, having them armored versus like the spandex looking ones from the show.
It was so cool, but it was so uncomfortable. But it was the coolest costume ever.
I've always wondered, and I try to ask the guys that question because I never wanted to seem sexist or anything. But that has got to be such a pain in the butt to do all the martial arts in those.
Well, they were vinyl, so it's not a very forgiving. Like you really had to push your kick or push your punch, and then the muscles were handcrafted, but they were made out of rubber. So the suits were about 25 to 30 pounds, depending on how tall you were.
So y'all didn't at least have to worry about like pinching and stuff from the punches.
No, we didn't. But it was like we didn't have to worry about that. But they were so heavy. Like we were literally walking around with 25, 30 pounds on your shoulders, back, and neck. And so it was like so heavy. They hired a whole team of people, so when we take them off, somebody would stand there and hold it for you in between takes.
So you'd have to have like multiple people to help you.
Well, it would be one person, but like also because it was vinyl, our bodies couldn't breathe properly in that material. Ooh. So we'd have to only wear them like 15, 20 minutes at a time because our body wouldn't sweat properly. And so we'd take them off and you feel like, how you walk into a room and you're completely sweaty and it's completely air conditioned? Yeah. It would be such a relief. But that
would be a nightmare to have that suit on.
It was a nightmare. They were horrendous.
End up having a seizure from heat exhaustion.
Well, this is the thing. The first week we started shooting, Alpha 5, Peta Marie, she was wearing her costume, which also was vinyl, like a vinyl base. and she had it on like all day, and her body wasn't breathing properly, and she ended up going to the hospital. Like she had a reaction to where her body swelled up, and so she had to go to the hospital for like 2 days. And so from there, they were like, okay, we can't keep them in
Only
there.
This amount of time
we need fans all around because it's the heat of summer in Australia. And so, yeah.
Yikes.
So although we had all those issues, they were so amazing. They looked amazing. That was when I realized when they said suffer for the look, you suffer for this amazing costume.
And that was the coolest. I mean, I don't think any other Power Ranger movies or the show have been like as detailed as that movie was.
That movie, the costume department, the stunts, just everyone who worked on it, the set designers. I mean, it was so much attention to detail. And honestly, when something wasn't working, they would scrap it and try something new. Like originally when Ivan Ooze came, we were fighting his monsters and they were like bears, but they looked like they were like stunt guys in bear costumes. But it didn't look very good. And it was kind of like, why?
So when it got changed to the birds?
Well, no, it got changed to the Ooze guys. The Ooze guys they came out of that where they were like, we don't really like the way these costumes are looking. And they had like a whole powwow just in the middle of the thing. And someone said, well, why don't we we dress up the stunt guys like Ooze men? Like they're kind of like offsprings of
like extensions. Okay.
And when we kick them, then they'll turn, like it just turned into this whole thing. They were like, yeah, when they kick them, it'll turn into splat. And then next thing you know, we had a really cool scene, which worked out way better.
I kind of asked, like, pretty much just answered the question already, but was that one of your favorite fight scenes?
It was my favorite of all time because when we were on the TV show, like I said, it would move really fast.
Right.
We never got time to practice. So it would kind of be like, go over there, you got 20 minutes and we'll shoot it. Luckily for me, they would shoot it in pieces, but I wasn't a martial artist. I was a dancer. So when I finally did the fight for the movie, it was amazing because like I had a whole week to like practice. I had, actually weeks, and we would just work together, and I got to like learn how to do a flip. I kind of got to learn all these cool things, and so when I did that fight, I was very comfortable and very like ready to kick some butt. So favorite of all time.
I think it was always that fight with the Ivan Ooze extensions, and then the very end, the robot, the Megazord fighting. I thought that was so cool. You had the last kick. I mean, you got Ivan Ooze right in the nards. I didn't know that was going to happen. I had no idea because obviously the look on his face, like floating off.
Yeah, they obviously did all the special effects after we finished shooting, and then they took us in a studio and we saw some of it, but we weren't seeing it in context. So it was kind of like, they would show you a scene and they gave me a list of things. Like the original scene was, this is funny, the original line was balls out, and I kicked him in the. But I'm glad somebody was like, that's not that kid friendly. And so I said like 10 lines, and it ended up being taking care of business. But it was like, I had no idea what it was going to be. I had no idea how the movie was going to end. I had no idea. And then when I went to the premiere,
that was the coolest.
And we watched it, I just remember walking out of the movie, and one of the producers, Suzanne Todd, was like, you did it! You won! You're the one who had it! And I was like, I did! Aisha did it! And I was like, well, that last scene when they were like, thank you, Power Rangers, it should have been thank you, Aisha, and the Power Rangers.
They should have.
Should have been, right?
That was cool. They had
I took it to the streets.
The Van Halen song right at the end of the movie.
Oh, that's like, to this day, anytime I hear that song, I mean, I instantly see it, and I'm just like, wow, what a cool moment, and what a cool soundtrack. It just shows you the power of music and what it does in a movie, right?
Well, can't keep you out here all day. I know you got to get back to the fans. So, is there any way for fans to be able to find you on social media? Or?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Karan Ashley, and even there you'll be able to find what Comic-Cons I'm going to and where you can meet me in person. I'd love to meet all of you. But if you're in town, come to Huntsville.
Yeah,
we're having
day one of this event.
Day one.
Get out here, make sure to meet all of your favorite heroes. And remember, this is the only show with a clean bill of health from Dr. Doom, Dr. Strange, Dr. Fate, and Doctor Who. We'll see you in the multiverse.
Woo!
Gotta run.
It's morphin' time.